Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's session. My name is Anka, and I will be your host today. We're going to talk about influencer marketing. But before we begin, let me introduce my colleague Andrea, who will be in the chats with us. And I'm also waiting for my co-host to join. Give me just a second. There we go. And while he joins, I'll actually introduce the topic of today's webinar together with um, the um, the way we're going to do things, right? Oh, there we go. Hi, welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you clearly. How are you doing?
Awesome. I'm good. Your camera is off. Can you turn that on?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I think it should be good.
Perfect. So welcome to today's webinar. Today with me, we have Gaurav from Attrock. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I always
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
So how's everyone doing today? Let me know in the chat where you are in the world. I'd be very curious to know. I'm also going to launch a poll for you guys to let me know if you are already using or not using yet influencer marketing in your strategy. So let me launch that poll. There we go. Let me know if you're using it or not. In the meantime, let's go a little bit through the rules of today's session. We're going to talk about selecting influencers, negotiating contracts, tracking the results, and then we're going to go through a few influencer marketing campaigns, and we're going to talk about what happened there, what worked, what might not have worked, and so on. So without further ado, I also just wanted to quickly note that this webinar is recorded. So you will be getting a recording of today's session, and we will be having a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So I guess it's up to you to stick with us until the end and get all of the right answers to your questions. Awesome. So let's not prolong this any longer. I can see some people in the poll saying that they really want to start using influencer marketing. So Gaurav, take it away. I'm going to mute my microphone so that you can go ahead with your presentation.
All right, thank you so much, Anka. Okay, so let's get started on the influencer marketing. So today, we are going to talk about the how we can actually leverage influence marketing in our day-to-day life or in the our brand and generate more leads and qualified targeted traffic. So let's get started on this. So we are going to talk about how we are going to select the influencers and how we are going to negotiate the contracts and how we are going to track the results. Influence marketing campaign debunking will be done by Anka later on, but I will be talking about how we are going to select the influencers and negotiate contracts. Before we get started, just to give you a small introduction about myself, I'm a digital marketing consultant. I founded Attrock, and it's a digital marketing agency. We provide content services, email services, influencer marketing services, and it's been like 12 years into this industry. So today we are going to talk about only influencer marketing. So I'll try to give my insights, what we have done for different campaigns, what we have learned in last 10 years in influencer marketing, and what kind of mistakes we have done and what we have learned from all those things. Cool. So the first step when it comes to influencer marketing is about selecting the right influencers. But before jumping to the right influencers, just want to give you a small idea that what is influencer marketing. So influencer marketing is all about you have you have a brand and you have a selected piece of audience that you want to target, but you don't understand how to target them. Otherwise, there's one like advertisements, SEO, email content. That's one thing. But just in case, they are a set of people in social media who already have the similar audience as of yours. If you ask them to collaborate with your brand and they promote your product into their feed, into their social media, on their to their audience, then it's a very easy way so that you get more qualified and targeted traffic from their audience. And that's all about the influencer marketing is. So you collaborate with right type of influencers so that you promote your product to their audience, and they just show their product on their story, on their video, or maybe a static image, or there could be a number of ways so that they can promote on their social media. But the point of this is you need to figure out the right type of person who has the right fit as your audience is, and you promote your product or maybe services or whatever you have. Like maybe you have a digital product, just ask the influencer to showcase your product on their feed or in the reel form, on the video form, or image form, and you start getting the right type of traffic. And this is the main concept of this is about the traffic footfall. If you have the right footfall and you are promoting the product in the right place, you get the right type of audience, and the right type of audience converts really well. The more conversions means more revenue. That makes everyone happy, right? So let's start with the picking up the right influencers. And the main of the concept is to understand your audience should align with the audience of the influencer. And this influence marketing is done mostly by on Instagram, on YouTube. A lot of people do on TikTok, and sometime on Twitter as well. Best platform, what we have seen that performs really well is YouTube and Instagram, and TikTok as well. This year, like in last two couple of years, TikTok is performing really well. But Instagram and YouTube is something that brings a lot of good results, and we have like great case studies as well. Most important, you need to understand the brand values that you should have is aligned with the brand value of the influencer, because there are a lot of like fake influencers are in the market, and there's not enough information that is available in the market that actually allows you to understand whether the influencer is right or wrong. So the most important part is you need to use certain tools that actually gives the in-depth analytics of the influencer. And if you find influence that seems to be a good fit for your brand, reach out to them. Simply ask them to share the insights of their feed, and from those insights, you are able to understand whether the audience is coming from the right location that you're targeting. Maybe just you're targeting you're just take an example, your restaurant, and you want to target hyper local on New York only. So you reach out to a person and asking them to share the insight, and you see in the insight the audience that person has mostly from Los Angeles, not New York. So you should not engage with that influencer because his audience is mostly in Los Angeles or in different area, or maybe Las Vegas or somewhere else, but not the New York. So you need to pick the right influencer who has a similar audience. The two ways is identify the tool. One of the good tool is Hype Auditor and Trend Hero that provides you a good insight about the influencer. And second way is simply reach out to them. If you don't have enough budget, simply reach out to them, DM them, and ask them to, I want to collaborate with you. You seems to be a good fit for us, but I need to understand your audience. So please share your insights. They share the insights. You understand what kind of audience they have, age group. Maybe if it's a female product you have, so how much female they have. So those kind of insights you can understand and move forward on that basis. So the first step is understanding the right influencer. Understand that should be a good fit for your audience. Next step is now you understand, okay, this person is a good fit for you. He has a similar audience in terms of location, age wise, sex wise, and maybe in terms of the brand values. Now the second part is you need to understand how much engaging audience he has, like how many likes he is getting on the videos, how many share he's getting on the videos, on the static images, and how many comments he's getting. Because a lot of time influencer buy these kind of likes and comments. So you need to understand that engagement rate is good. So ideally, what you see is in the influencer marketing, the if it's a mega influencer is like about 100,000 followers to 1 million, and ultra influencer is like more than 1 million. A micro influencer is like 10,000 to 100,000 followers. So you need to understand that ideally, if you see a influencer with 100,000 to 1 million, they have a engagement rate of something around 2% or 1%. This is an ideal range, and this is something you can also identify on Google. And just to give you an idea that 2% and 1% is something around to 1 million to sorry 100,000 to 1 million. And if a micro influencer like 10,000 to 100,000, so the engagement rate would be around like 5% or sometime 8% as well. So if the influencer has a similar kind of engagement rate, that gives an idea that this is a kind of a genuine person. If somebody is having like 15% engagement rate, 20% engagement rate, the chances is that the person is buying followers or maybe buying likes and comments. So you should try to avoid those kind of people, because if you engage those influencer, you might get some traffic. You might see that okay, a lot of people are liking my post, but you won't get the right type of audience, the qualified audience that you're looking, which actually converts. Because at the end, ROI really matters. And for ROI, you need to understand that you need to get right type of people uh, in your store, online store, on your page, wherever you are targeting. So that's pretty much important. So likes, share, and comments, that's one thing. Authenticity. For the authenticity, you can use Trend Hero and Hype Auditor. They are really good tools. You can simply check out their premium account, and if you don't have budget, they have some free freemium plan as well. Check out them and see how authenticity score they, how much authentic score they have, how much engagement rate they have. And on the basis of those, you are able to understand, okay, these are getting real followers or fake followers, and maybe they have fake comments. So on the basis of this, you are able to decide, okay, whether I should move forward or not. Because I'm telling on this, in the influencer marketing industry, a lot of scammers are there. So please be aware of those things, those people, because if you engage with any scammer, then you get a bad experience, and maybe you feel like, okay, influence marketing is not my cup of tea, or maybe it's not for fit for my business. But honestly, it works really well for B2C. It really works well for B2B, because we worked with a lot of SaaS brands, a lot of e-commerce brands, restaurants, gym. So influence marketing really works really well only when you know what type of influencer you want to engage and what type of audience you have. If you have this those clarity and understand the whether influence is good or not, genuine or not, engaging or not, then you can easily make your campaign very successful. So that's one thing. Next is, now you understand, okay, the person is the right fit for me, for my brand. Now you understand the engaging, the audience is very engaging. Now you understand that the profile the person has is genuine, authentic. Now the next part is to understand the quality of content, because that also brings improves the quality of audience you are going to get. If the person has not too much promotional content, and all the kind of video the person is like publishing on the page is like more creative, on creative side, and it is like with more expertise tone and authoritative tone, then you can you can rely on the part that the kind of audience they have, the person has, is more genuine, and people are actually watching the videos for like for the full length. Because these are like small tidbits, but these kind of information really helps in getting the quality of audience you want to have a better audience. So always assess the quality of content they are submitting. Just taking example, they are not promoting too much promotional content, or they are just not posting any kind of bullshit content, or anything which is not aligned with your brand value as well. Maybe just take an example, casino related content or any kind of content that doesn't align with your audience. You should know that the kind of feed they have, at least for next 15-20 videos, they have good visuals, the depth of the content is good, the grammar, language, tone, and everything aligns really well with your brand. Because that actually helps to get good quality audience that you looking. Now, once you understand all these areas, simply be blunt and be simply ask them to share the past collaboration results they have, and how much engagement other brands might have received. Maybe maybe if one of your competitors also engaged with your influencer, simply ask them what kind of results they have provided, what kind of engagement they have seen, and those kind of stuff. Uh, a lot of time, a lot of influencer does not follow like disclosure policy, and they are because of short of budget and something, maybe they just go for barter system. So sometime what we have seen in our experience, if you simply ask them and they don't have any NDAs, they are open to share those kind of information with you. And this kind of information we simply ask them because we know this information really help us to evaluate and identify what kind of, if I really want to engage with this influencer or not. Because if you have a short in budget, you need to uh, spend your money like very carefully. So ROI is very important, and collaborating with right influencer is kind of very important. So ask about the past collaborations, understand them, and if they have any like suggestions, if just in case one of your competitor also collaborated with that influencer, ask them what kind of problems or maybe what kind of audience the other competitor might have received. If they are open to share those information, use those information, leverage it if it's possible. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not, but it really helps. So just want to give an idea on this part. Next is understand how much charge they take. If you go for micro influencer, mostly they are open for barter system. So maybe you provide them one, if it's a restaurant, ask them for a free dinner for their family or for them, or maybe for a date. And if it's gym, maybe you can provide a membership to the person or whatever. If there's anything you can provide, if it's a software tool or maybe it's anything that digital product you have, maybe you provide them for free, and in exchange of providing a reel or maybe a story posting on their page. So this kind of barter system really works. But with the uh, mega influencers and ultra influencers, for million followers and 100,000 followers, they charge on the basis of engagement rate. So this is a small basic range we have put together that really helps us to give you an idea. Okay, if it's a mid-tier influencer, micro influencer, mega influencer, celebrities, how much charge usually they take. But it also depends on their engagement rate as well. And sometimes if they have a like managers, so they also take a cut of this. And so, but you need to negotiate. That's the whole thing. But this range gives you a basic idea that, okay, if I'm going after like micro influencer, this kind of budget I should have. If I'm going to engage 10 influencer, I should have something around like $5,000 for the engagement rate, for the influencer campaign for this collaboration. And rest for the management influencer campaign should be like $2,000, $3,000. So by engaging 10 influencers, the management cost and the influencer collaboration cost goes around like $5,000, $10,000. If you are engaging some kind of agency or maybe hiring some freelancer to manage all this thing. So this is just an idea to understand, okay, this much money I should take for influencer campaign. All right. Next is to understand how you should negotiate for the influencer contract. What I've seen for startups who doesn't have enough money, so they don't go after like contract part. But these are like pros and cons. That's what I've seen. For a lot of big brands, I really recommend go for a contract so that uh, they have the confidentiality clause there, and they are not going to disclose all the information that you might have put together. Because as I said, a lot of time when you ask influencer, they are open to share the information what they have done with the brands, and which is sometime good for you. But when you become a big brand, it's not really wise if influencer is going to share your information to other brands, your competitors, because they will learn from this and they might leverage all those information. So always try to go for a contract, maybe an NDA or maybe a small agreement. But for that part, always make sure that the expectations and the deliverables are very clear, so that they're not going to breach it and they're not going to make anything bad out of this. So goals should be clear. How much content you are looking, how much like you have to be specific that, okay, I need two story, I need one reel and one static or maybe one carousel. If it's a YouTube video, just be specific that if you're looking for shorts or you're looking for a long video like explanatory video, what kind of video. So if you define those things, that really helps us to make things really work in the contract. Also, timelines and the scope of this. Also, when you go for an influencer campaign, always make sure that the objective is very clear. What kind of objective you have or the goal you have, whether looking for just a brand awareness or maybe just looking for like conversion, or maybe looking for just to promote your product, a specific offer or Black Friday sale or anything. Just be specific about those things. That really helps to generate a better ROI. And also you are going to set some KPIs. When you have a clear goals, you can set some KPIs, and that helps us in tracking results, which we are going to talk about in next few slides. So be specific about the content, KPIs, define it clearly, timelines and everything, then you're good to go. Now you need to understand that ownership right should be on your side, or you are open to share the ownership right to the influencer. Sometimes a few influencers who are very experienced, they sometimes charge for this, and sometimes they are like pretty open for this part, that they are not going to charge anything on this. So this is all good for ownership right. And next is a very important part, non-disclosure policy. Always keep confidential policy in the agreement or NDAs in place. This really helps to have your data safe towards your competitions. Next is compensation negotiation. Uh, it's what I have seen. The if you have a conversion goal, always try to use some kind of coupon code so that you are able to understand how much conversion you received from the particular influencer. So just take an example: you hired 10 influencers in the first month, and out of this, and you gave 10 different coupon code to 10 influencers. And after running the campaign and the second month, you realize, okay, like these two influencers performed really well and 8 influencers did not perform really well. So in the next month, use those influencers again, and go for another 8 influencer from your list, and then again provide the different coupon codes and again reevaluate the success. And if you are continuous 3 months, you understand, okay, these two influencers are performing really well, keep engaging with them. And if you are able to run the campaign for like 6 months or 1 year, I recommend go for a ambassador program as well. Ambassador program is something you identify certain influencer that perform really well, align with your audience, is really good with the content and everything, and make them an ambassador, and ask them to promote your product like wherever he go or she go, or whatever the content he's producing for the brands. Maybe use a t-shirt or cap, or anything with your logo and everything. So that kind of ambassador program is something you can run. But this is something you will understand once you run the influencer campaign for 6 months or 12 months, so that you understand, okay, this influencer is performing outstanding. And you can also provide incentives so that they are like passionate about your brand as well, because at the end, money matters for everyone, to be honest. So if you provide like incentives, like maybe 2x their compensation. And sometimes certain brands who are very aggressive towards influencer campaign, what they do is, for certain period, like they know that with Black Friday sale is coming or Christmas is coming, and their product is specific for the holiday season. So what they do is they promote their influencers or their affiliates. They ask them to, they say that, okay, I'm going to double your incentives and double your compensation for the next 30 days if you promote us aggressively. So now they know that, okay, I'm already getting like $500 or $1,000 from this brand on a monthly basis now. And they are very good brand, and they are very they pay on time and everything. So they will be more aggressive towards the promotion, and with the more aggression in the right time, you get more better ROI. So that kind of compensation model, incentives, if you can provide, and run it for a couple of months, find the right influencer, make it an ambassador, this whole thing becomes so successful that after a year or so, you will realize that, okay, influencer my campaign brings you like a great ROI, even better than the paid ads and other different campaigns you might have run. Lastly, after understanding all the goals and KPIs, negotiation terms and conditions, draft the legal contract. I recommend to contact a lawyer for this to make sure that there is no legal bound or any kind of problem you might face. And just draft it, get it done, sign it off using DocuSign, and there PandaDoc. There are a lot of different online tools available to get it signed. After this, once the contract is ready, your timeline is good, goals and KPIs are set. On the basis of this, simply ask the influencer to create the content and move forward. Now, after launching publishing the campaign, and the post is good, just make sure that the KPI and goals are set. And the basis of the goal and the KPIs, always measure the success. Because if you are confused with the different goal and different KPIs, just to example that you have a goal of sales or conversion, but you are looking at the impression and reach, it's not going to make much sense. So each and every goal has a different set of KPI. So on the right hand side on the screen, you can see that we have set a like for a sales campaign. Look for the sales and conversions. Look for the sales or maybe new customer account, number of clicks or number of traffic you received on the website. So those kind of KPIs are specific for sales and conversions. For engagement and community building, for maybe more followers, look for the like how much likes, how much comments you received on your post, how much new followers you have received. If it's about the engagement, because you want to grow your like Instagram account, so your goal should be engagement. Maybe you are already well established brand, but you just want to increase the brand awareness. You're Coca-Cola or anything, you still want to run different campaigns. So they're not looking for any sales engagement campaigns. They will look for uh, awareness campaign. So their goal should be, the KPI should be the reach, the impressions, the how much impression they are getting, how much reach they are getting on their post. So that kind of KPIs and goals really helps in like getting better position. uh, Next is you can also using different discount code, coupon codes, or maybe UTM links. That helps us to track the conversions. UTM links helps us to get the conversion tracked on Google Analytics. Discount codes are really good and very specific. It doesn't have any trouble in tracking. So I really recommend that providing a different coupon codes or discount code for different influencer separately. So that you understand, okay, Anka 20 or maybe Gaurav 15 would be a kind of a influence coupon code from Gaurav and Anka. So that's just an example. Uh, Track the engagement rate, reach as per the KPIs and everything really helps you to understand the success. And these are the list of tools that are going to help you in the influencer journey. For selection, Hipsy, BuzzSumo, Trend Hero, Hypodit, they're good tools. I've used it personally. And for influence contract signature, DocuSign, HelloSign, Panadoc. For outreaching, you can also DM them, but sometimes if they're mega influencers, they just sometimes don't respond because they're like their message is already too filled. So reach out to them via email, use reply.io, Pitchbox are the good tools. For tracking, SocialBee is a great tool, Google Analytics, Bitly, and for enterprise level as well, it's a Grin and Upfluence is a to Z influencer management brands. Grin is something I recommend a lot because I've used it in the past, and these tools really help you in the influence journey. But the whole point is you need to understand your audience first, find the right fit for you, understand the goal and KPI that you have, set your expectations, get the contract ready, use these tools to increase the productivity and speed up the process, and run it for at least 6 months to 12 months. And don't go for one-off campaign, because one-off campaign doesn't give you the right type of result. But for a long-term campaign, I can bet you will have a great ROI compared to like paid campaigns or maybe in SEO, whatever campaign you have run in the past. So that's about me. And also, you guys can hire us as influencing agency if you want. We also provide consultations and audits, and we have different services as well for SEO and content marketing as well. And anybody who reach out to us via SocialBee, we are happy to offer like 50% discount on all our services. You can reach out to rina@thetetro.com for further information. So for now, I'm good, and I like to hand it over to Anka.
Thank you. That was so fun and so interesting. Fun fact, Anka 20 actually exists. um, yeah, I run an influencer community here in Romania where I'm from. So that actually exists. It's actually a thing for certain brands. So it does work. Okay, so we're running into the Q&A time no, before we go into that, I actually wanted to ask you to do a quick recap of everything. So my question to you would be, what do you think, or what do you know the steps are for someone who's just getting started with influencer marketing? Can you put it in a list? 1, 2, 3. You should do this, this, and this to get started.
Yes, the first step is to understand your audience, because if somebody is getting just started on influence marketing, the most of the time what I've seen is people don't understand their audience first. So they need to understand their audience. They need to design an audience persona. like what demography they have, which location, which type of say, male, female, age group, or maybe if it's a B2B, define the position, who is the decision maker of the person. If it's a B2C, what kind of age group they are targeting and which location, maybe it's a hyper location or maybe a nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
Define all those things first. Now, once that the person has those clarity, then go to the influencer, understand whether it's a B2C or whether B2B. That's another second step. If it's a B2B, I recommend LinkedIn is a good platform for B2B. If it's a B2C, go for Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So that's how you can define those platform as well. So if it's a B2C, identify Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. And also you can do a competitor analysis. If you're new, there's a chance that a lot of your competitors are already used doing influencer marketing. Identify what kind of campaigns they are running, whether they are running on Instagram or maybe they are on YouTube. Understand the platform. Now understand, then go to these tools like Trend Hero, Hyperauditor. Use those tools, identify a list of influencer, create a list, reach out to them using reply or maybe DM, and then, as I mentioned, identify whether they're authentic, genuine, and go for engagement rate, and then filter out from like 100 influencer, filter out to like 10 influencer. Look for your budget, how much budget you are likely to spend. If it's a barter system, if you don't have enough budget, go for barter system, go for micro influencers, and then move forward.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's great advice. So we also have one question from an audience member, which I think is a brilliant question, and I had to ask it now. I couldn't wait until the end. So the question is, what metric is more important, from engagement or high followers? So they say there are two influencers. Number one has good numbers on relevant followers, but less engagement. Number two has low numbers of followers, but high engagement. So I'm guessing it's a macro versus micro.
Right. It's similar to
Thing.
this. See, from my experience, I always go for high engagement rate and less followers, because if somebody is engaging with your content, that means the person is actually consuming your content. And if somebody is consuming your content, they are absorbing whatever the content is providing, and the chances the person is going to land up in your website is higher when it comes to engagement. So if you have someone as like high follower, low engagement, the person is not going to absorb the content enough, and they might bounce off in like 30 second or 10 second of half of the video. So that person is not going to land up on your website, because at the end, we goal is to like get the target audience or get the right type of traffic. So engagement is the key. So in that case, what you can do is go for volume, go for like multiple influencers, like high engagement rate influencers, maybe less followers, go for micro influencer. And that's why these days micro influencers are like quite successful than mega influencers,
Mm-hmm.
because they provide good engagement rate, and the people, and they want to grow as well. So they actually put efforts towards creating a great content for your brand. So go for high engagement. That's the key.
And there's also not as much competition from other brands working with the same influencer, with mega
True.
influencers. There's going to be a lot of campaigns all the time. So you might just
Always.
return on investment on that. Okay,
Yes.
since you talked about this in your presentation, I also wrote down here, you mentioned about asking data from previous collaborations, potentially with competitors. And that's a great thing to do, but I'm wondering, should you actually collaborate with an influencer that worked with your competitor? Is there a clash there? Is it a good practice? Can you tell us more?
Yeah. So from my experience, they have a mixed reviews on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Certain influencer, if you work with like mega influencer, there is a higher chance that mega influencer already work with some of the your competitors. In
Mm-hmm.
certain cases, if they have like great followers, you might see similar results. And sometimes they already have like contract in place, so they don't share much information for mega influencers. But for micro influencer, when you do this, you might see, you might understand, okay, these people might not receive enough engagement and enough results, or maybe the type of video they have created for them is not like good enough as per your experience. So you can actually tweak things and learn from those mistakes and make things better. So if you collaborate with those people who already work with your competitors, chances of getting that you might get better results if you are working with the micro influencers. For mega, they just I find them very high-headed as well. So they don't respond much, they don't listen to you much, they are very stubborn a lot. So working with mega influencers is fine. If you're working with micro influencers with your competitors, ask them. They're open as well, and they share things easily. So you can try to tweak things from the past experience and make a better campaign with them.
Okay, and what do you think about exclusivity or asking for exclusivity from an influencer? Is it a given? Is it something that you should discuss with the influencer? Is it something that you should potentially offer more money for or include more of a budget for towards the influencer for exclusivity? What do you
For
think?
exclusivity, see, if it's a well-established or a good influencer, he knows that exclusivity clause is going to charge a lot.
Mm.
So if it's a mega influencer, they're gonna put some extra money on this. They will charge, okay, for exclusivity, I'll take 500 extra or 1,000 extra, whatever. So, but if you have a strong brand value and you are like really good in your position in your in your like success pyramid, then you should go for exclusivity clause. Otherwise, they will promote your product and promote other products as well, which is not a good practice. But if you are tight in budget, then it's not a like mandatory clause. But
Mhm.
if you have great values and you have like great vision and you have a funding as well, go for exclusivity clause.
And how long should this exclusivity be?
Exclusivity, usually they go for like 3 months max
Okay,
for the competition industry.
perfect.
But if
Okay.
you can negotiate for a longer period, and the most importantly, if you think that influence is really good and bringing results, as I said, go for ambassador program and
Mhm.
ask them to exclusively work for them only. This
Make them
way,
long
the
term.
person, yeah, yes. So identify that kind of right fit influencer for you and make it ambassador.
Awesome. So while we were talking here, I can see some extra questions joining in. So if you know of a way to find good influencers in the SEO industry, that would be one of them.
Can you repeat? Sorry, I didn't get
If
it.
you can tell us a way to find good influencers in a specific industry, in this case, SEO, but I guess how do you research influencers in your specific niche? Where do you?
Okay. So in SEO specifically, those are bloggers usually. So bloggers usually go for affiliate links. They don't provide any like brand awareness program. They usually go for sale conversion and affiliate programs. So affiliate marketing, influence marketing are kind of like a thin line difference, but
Mhm,
affiliate is more performance based and influencer is mixed. It also provide performance, but also give you like reach and impression and brand awareness.
mhm,
So for uh, there's no like much tools available that provides you great data about the bloggers, but BuzzSumo is one that provides you a list of bloggers that you can go after in your industry and reach out to those bloggers and ask them to collaborate with you and go give them a like coupon code or maybe an affiliate link
Yeah, and
and
I think
use the
my monitor does the same. So
yeah
I think
yes
part two.
right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then one more question, and then we'll jump into dissecting some influencer campaign uh, marketing campaigns, actually. Is hiring the right influencer and tracking the results sufficient to get success in my influencer campaign, or is there anything else that I need to keep in mind?
No, I mean these two things are like a perfect thing, but just important that the audience is good fit as per your audience as well. If that fits, engagement is good, influence is good, they are putting efforts in creating good real content, then you're good to go. But also, one-off campaign is not I recommend. If you're looking for one-off campaign, don't do the campaigns. It's better go for like SEO or different like PPC campaign. Go for long-term campaign for at least 6 months or 12 months so that you're able to understand what type of influencer works for you. Because honestly, if you go for 10 influencer as per your understanding with all the guidelines I've shared, I can bet on this thing only 5 will give you results or 3 give you results.
Mhm.
All 10 is not going to give you results for sure. Identify those 3 or 5 and then repeat the same again and again for every month or maybe quarterly basis. And I didn't and make a list of like 10 influencers after the 1 year or 6 months. And then out of those 10, go for like 1 or 2 brand ambassador program, incentivize them, compensate them really well, ask them to promote your product aggressively, and then after a year or so you will understand that okay, you are getting a better ROI, and that's how you can make things really good for your brand.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gaurav. This was so exciting for me to be a part of.
Yeah,
So I really hope everyone else learned as much as I did.
yeah,
Now,
awesome.
feel free to stop sharing your screen.
Yeah,
Let me properly reintroduce myself as well. My name is Anka. I'm a social media strategist here at SocialBee. And for the better 13 years, I guess, I was also the creator of one of the biggest influencer communities here in Romania, where I'm from. So I do have a little bit of experience on the other side of the screen from the influencer perspective, but also from the social media strategist perspective. So today we're going to look at a few influencer campaigns, see if they worked, see if they didn't, see what happened there, what worked, what didn't. Can you see my screen? Let's go there first. Let's see. Yes. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit about influencer marketing campaigns and if they are worth it. I mean, you also talked about it a little bit, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but just keep in mind that people don't buy from brands, they buy from the people. And right now, the people are the influencers. TV commercials are dropping because less people are actually having TVs in their homes. Radio commercials are dropping because there's not as many people listening to radio. Now that you have Spotify and Bluetooth, you can just listen to your music whenever you want in the car. You don't need to listen to the radio as much. So social media really is the place to be as a brand, and influencers really are the new media, in my opinion, at least. So are they worth it? I would say yes. So let's remember, now that we've already gone through the types of influencers, let's remember each influencer: mega influencers, 1 million and over; macro influencers, over 100K, I would say up to 1 million; micro influencers up to 100K; and then nano influencers usually start at around 1K. So anything below that is just someone who's maybe a runner-up. And then ends at around 10K. Feel free to take a screenshot of this if you didn't get a chance to do so in the beginning when Gaurav mentioned all of these, because this is great insight for your influencer campaigns. So we're going to talk about the different types of campaigns that you can do with influencer marketing, starting with sponsored posts, which is the most common type of influencer marketing campaign. It typically involves influencers promoting or mentioning your product, just like product placement, brand sponsored posts, things like this. You see them most oftenly with podcasts. You see them a lot on YouTube videos, where this YouTube video is brought to you by SocialBee or by Attrock or any other brand out there. And it's a very effective way for businesses to communicate the campaign's main idea in the content of the creator. So it's super effective that way. You then have things like contests and giveaways, which can bring more awareness and engagement to your to both of your accounts, actually. So if you've tested the waters with a specific influencer, and you know that you have the right audience with their audience, you can just transfer that audience over to you by using a giveaway or a contest that mixes your audiences. That is awesome. It's an awesome tool to use to kind of grow your following and engagement. Gaurav also mentioned the affiliate marketing, which is super effective in tracking and providing rewards to the people who actually work more for promoting your brand. But there's also other things like gifting or unboxing or reviews, typically more in the lifestyle niche, I would say. Lifestyle, food, things like that, the lighter niches, let's say, where you can actually send PR packs and make them pretty, and they will be unboxed in a story, in a reel, in things like that, and just generate curiosity around the brand. This is a great way to get familiar with the brand the first time around. So if you're just trying to start a collaboration with an influencer, this might be a great way to test if that influencer is going to be open to a wider collaboration or not, by the way they react to the PR package, for instance. And it especially works with things that are physical, a bottle of water, I won't say a phone, but like a lipstick, I don't know, pasta brand, whatever it might be. But it can also work very well with experiences if you, I don't know, sell festival tickets. And you can send them a festival ticket with a PR pack that's nicely wrapped and all of that. You can also do other things, though. You can work with brand ambassadors, the way Gaurav mentioned. You can have event activations, which is where you bring the influencer to an event that you organize that will generate hype in the online world. And it will bring everyone's attention to your brand so that you can then maximize on that attention directly from your account. And you can also do that further by working with account takeovers from known influencers or celebrities, not leveraging their accounts, but yours with their presence. So now that we've gone through these, I do have a few examples that I would like to go through. I will not show them all on screen, but I do have some that I really want to show you. Starting with this one. This is a paid partnership. You can see it labeled in the caption. It's a micro-influencer who specializes in cocktail recipes, and they got sent a wine. So they created a recipe for a cocktail, including that wine. And I just want to show how nice this is done so that it's integrated into the regular story that this influencer actually has in their content. So they created an actual recipe. They included the wine. They included everything else that needed to be included in there. And having the wine always present in the background, which is a nice touch, because that way the brand is always present in the line of view, and you get a nice cocktail out of it as well. So this is a perfect integration of sponsored content. The next one is an even better one, in my opinion, because this is, I would call it a non-conventional one, because this paid partnership is, well, first of all, this one is with a mega influencer, not a micro one like we had before. And it's a dish soap, but it's getting promoted through a recipe. So this is really cool because it works with adjacent audiences. His audience is looking for recipes, that's for sure, but they have common goals. They are plant-based, maybe. They are looking for sustainable resources. They want to make sure that they use products that are biodegradable, that help save the environment and all of that. And this is a product that works for both of their audiences. And it's a little more subtle than the one we had before, which had direct usage of the product. But this is a great way to integrate products that might not feel like they work together in a setting that actually makes it logical and makes a connection with whatever you do. Because whenever you cook, there's always going to be dishes. So this is perfect from that point of view. Okay, so let's go through a few others here. I'm sure if you're scrolling through TikTok, you might have seen Haley here. She's one of the mega influencers talking about working a corporate job and different types of coworkers that you have in there. And this is a partnership with Instacart where she did kind of skit around the coworker who never takes a sick leave day, and the one who's like, you know what, you're gonna take a sick leave day, and I'm gonna send you the meds via the Instacart. So I'm just placing the order now, and it's very native to her content, which is the point I'm trying to convey, in case that wasn't clear enough yet. So basically, the takeaway in this is to present a niche, the use case of your app. Okay, moving forward to the similar creator, I would say, Advice with Erin. She also shares career and life advice in her TikToks and Instagrams, as she's a mega influencer. And she's promoting Mark Cuban's class on Masterclass. And the way she did it is by starting this with a hook, starting with grabbing the attention of her audience with valuable advice. So she asked the question and then immediately followed with the solution to that question. And then at the end, the other her asked something like, okay, but how do you know all this? Well, she took Mark Cuban's class on Masterclass. So that's how she learned all this. So I guess I should take that class so that I should learn how to do all of that. It's a great takeaway from this video. This is a fun one, and I'm not sure if you guys are horror fans, but I am, and this was insane. So this Maverick Mother is an influencer that talks about family life, being a mom, which is not always fun, as we may know. And this is a collaboration with Duracell batteries. So her kid is actually transforming into the character from The Ring whenever her toy doesn't have batteries anymore. And so this was a fun way of placing the product into her already formed type of content, into her niche as a parent, without causing any drama, without causing any concern, because, you know, with parenting, there might be concerns with a few things that people decide to put on the internet. So this was a fun spin to help her escape the ring with Duracell batteries for the little child's toy who was not working because the batteries were dead. So this is a fun one. If you are not following her, I definitely recommend that you do that. I actually do that with all of these influencers. I feel like that's a great way to start learning about influencer marketing, is by actually looking for influencer campaigns that different influencers do. So this particular one is a paid partnership because you notice the label at the bottom, but the product actually is never mentioned in the video. This is a workout routine, and the product is the clothes for your workout. So they are relevant to the video, but they're never mentioned. However, in the description, you see what she says. She says, all you need is a pair of dumbbells and the outfit. And that's it. She's selling the lifestyle and that abs in order to make you want to look like her. You definitely need those clothes. And she's also giving you a discount code, which is very important to track this kind of partnership, especially when it comes to things that are maybe not, or especially when it comes to things that are being paid. When you are paying good money to that influencer, you definitely want to track that result and make sure you're getting your return on investment on this. So the takeaway here is that you don't necessarily need to mention the product in order to make it work for you. She is someone who is knowledgeable in her niche. She's a training instructor. You know, she's showing the product on screen so you can see it there, not mentioning it, but it correlates with what she's doing, which is a gym activity. And because the post is not an ad, even though it does have the paid partnership label, it feels more authentic to her audience. And so people are more inclined to look into it more, even if this is the first interaction they get with the brand. Okay, so maybe the blue set here is not my color, but let me see what else they have. And hey, I have a discount code, so might as well try it. So it's a great way to introduce your audience to a new brand, especially. This one's quite controversial because in the beauty industry, making videos about mascaras is always going to be controversial. I've seen it happen countless times when people have added false lashes to the mascara and pretend like that's like the amazing result that that you're getting with this. This particular video here, I picked it because it did spark the same controversy, although this one does not use false lashes. So because of previous instances where these things happened, the question in your audience's mind remains, especially because most of the people will follow multiple influencers. So they cross-pollinate a lot. So you got to be careful with how much wow factor your campaigns are having in order to avoid things that might be too controversial, unless that's something that you want to add to your campaign, because sometimes that's the goal. But if that's not your goal, make sure that you don't include things that might become controversial later on. Rather, demonstrate the product and show its true value, or actually have the influencer do that for you whenever you're collaborating with them. Now, this next one is another awesome one. This is a micro influencer. The cool thing about this, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure if the audio is coming through on your end, but this particular one does not have any narration. It has only music. So I'm going to play it for you here. It's quite fun. And just like that, the creator sold a dream, so to speak. So obviously the video is sponsored by the North Face, which is a brand that's specifically designed for outdoor clothing. And the key takeaway in this is that you can have influencers that are different from all of them, the ones that, you know, have the same patterns. So you can focus your attention towards influencers who are thinking out of the box and maybe creating some visual that you weren't expecting. It's also a good takeaway to remember that you are allowed to, and you should give creative freedom to the influencer so that they can integrate your product or your brand in their narrative as much as possible. In this case, by dreaming about a walk in nature when you're in the middle of the city. So this is a great example of that. And then this is another case. This one's a little more creative, let's say. She creates dreamlike videos. It's a little longer, so I don't want to waste a lot of your time by watching it. But if you want to do so, you can look up the influencer and find it there. It's basically promoting an experience. So she's showing the experience of a theme park. She's creating confusion, but also interest in that theme park and working through the different stages that you would be in that type of environment. And then this one is quite similar in the sense that this works with Pepsi, very familiar brand, and Sassy by Name has taken over Hyde Park, I think it is, in London, so that she can send people from there. This was around a Christmas market, so it's past now, but basically she was doing treasure hunts with cans of Pepsi. And people could get a kick out of it, you know, have a fun experience, and then at the end have Pepsi as well. So it's a great way to create exciting experiences for audiences. And it will, because it's an offline experience, they actually interact with your product, not just the influencer. So it's a lot easier to keep your product and your brand top of mind. Obviously, this is easier to do when you have a bigger brand, but it's not impossible with a smaller brand, especially if you're doing so at a local magnitude instead of a bigger one. So it's a great way to work with that. I have only a few more here. This one is an account takeover by Gabri Swarka. I'm sorry, I'm not good with pronouncing names, but they are actually live in the stories in Sephora's Instagram account, talking about a product called Kerastase to promote the brand that is in Sephora, but on their own account. So this kind of brings authority to the brand because it's someone else from the outside joining in on the brand, potentially an expert, because this is someone who will have an interest in that niche and who will have authority in that niche. Bring them in to recommend the product that you sell on your account. So this is a great way to work. And then we obviously have celebrities, and celebrities like David Beckham, collaborating with Adidas, is a form of brand ambassador type of collaboration where you already associate his name with the brand for longer term. The same happens with Calvin Klein and other brands like that. So you are very aware of their partnership, and it kind of helps associate his image with the brand. With one caveat here, take full responsibility for the people that you acknowledge or associate with, because their image will become your image as well. So make sure that the same brand values align. Make sure that yours and theirs align very well. So that's it from me. If you're curious about what we do here at SocialBee, we also have a discount code. It's SocialBee 50 times 3. And if you don't know what SocialBee is, it's a way for you to schedule your content for social media so that you can work on influencer marketing instead of spending your entire time working on your next posts. And that's it from me. If there are any questions, I see one here. If there are any more questions, now's the time. I'll just go into the question now. So, is it common to have multiple ambassadors, or does that, I am assuming, make more sense to work? Oh, does it make more sense to work with one ambassador only? I guess it depends on the size of your brand and the budget that you have. It makes sense to work with multiple ambassadors because even though multiple people are following multiple influencers, you're going to have different people who are not following all of them. And so the more influencers you're working with, the more exposure you would have. That's a great one. But make sure they're not maybe too similar in a sense that they are being followed by the same people, because then your results will be skewed by the fact that the same people are seeing that content and that brand of yours. So it does make sense to work with multiple ambassadors if you know for a fact that they have differences in their audiences and that you're exposing your brand to multiple audiences instead of one. It also has something to do with your budget as well. Okay, so while I was answering this question, we had a poll launched asking you if this session was useful for you. And I see here that the answers are yes. I'm taking notes, which makes me super happy because I'm really passionate about this subject. And so if there are any follow-up questions, or if you want to talk more about it on this topic, you can reach out to me at anka@socialbee.com. And Gaurav, where can they reach out to you?
Yeah, it's simple. It's gaurav@attrock.com.
Perfect. Okay, so there you have it, guys. Thank you all for joining us today. And thank you, Gaurav, for being a part of this amazing webinar and offering so much value.
Thank you so much, Anka. It's been a pleasure being in the webinar. Thank you so much.
Likewise. Awesome. Well, have a great day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.